Hi guys, and welcome to Visual C++ Math App Tutorial. Now let me show you guys how this works. Here we have 19 plus 1. Let's check out the results. There we go, and this will be incremented.
22 multiplied by 8, what is the answer?
22 multiplied by 8. The right answer is 176, but I'm going to deliberately get that wrong and just see what's going to happen.
Incorrect answer. The right answer is 176.
Thank you.
13 multiplied by 6, what is the answer?
And let's get this right. Just enter the right answer. There we go. And there we go. You are a winner. So I'm going to reset.
Start a new game. 14 plus 2, what is the answer?
There.
20 divided by 5, what is the answer?
There we go.
17 divided by 7, what is the answer?
Get that wrong.
Incorrect answer.
There.
The right answer is 2.428571428571443.
So what
22 minus 11, what is the answer?
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you guys straight into C++ development environment, and we'll put one of these together. Let's do that now, guys. Okay, we're starting a new project. I'm going to click on new project. And right there, I'm going to select my template, and that's going to be C++. So if you notice, I've selected CLR empty projects. That is what you guys need. Okay, if you don't have that in there, just come right here, select C++, and in here make sure you select Windows and scroll right down, look for your CLR empty project. But what you need is going to be CLR empty project.net, and that is it right there. There's difference between .NET framework and just .NET. So the one I'm using is .NET framework, this very one. Make sure you select that and then click on next. Now give your project a name. I'm going to call it CPP Math App. Let's enter something else there. So I'm just going to say 2. Math App 2. That's good. Click on create. And now that your development environment is ready, but the problem is you don't have a form. So to take care of that, you see this property in here. You see that very icon? Click on that very icon. And that will open up this dialog. Inside this dialog, depends on your platform. I'm using 64-bit. If you're using 32, make sure you change that to 32-bit. Since my 64-bit, I'll keep it at 64-bit. And come right here, you see where we have configuration properties. You see underneath there's a linker. Drop the linker down and select system. Inside the system to your right, you now want to select subsystem. Drop this drop down arrow down and select Windows subsystem. There. Now the next thing is come right down here inside the linker again, select advanced. In the advanced, you see where we have entry point. The entry point is going to be the main. Just type in main in there. Okay, now click on apply and then click on OK. There we go. Now the next thing you want to do is come back right here. You see your project name. Right click on the name of your project and select add. Inside the add, select add new item. And inside the new item, you now want to select CLR. Inside the CLR, there's a form in there, window form. You can also select UI. The UI does have a window form as well. I might as well stick to my CLR. Select the form, and that's the form there. You can change the name of your form, but I prefer to leave it as myform.h. click on add. There we go. Now we have an error. There we go, we end up with an error. So what we need to do is to go to the Solution Explorer. Inside the Solution Explorer, you see where we have myform.cpp. Double click on myform.cpp. And right here you are meant to enter some lines of code. But not to worry, there's an easy way out. There's a forum. Right inside our forum, the lines of code are there for you to use. You can always follow the instruction on here, but the instruction is an old instruction. However, the code that you need is right here. That is the lines of code. This link will actually be added to the description area, so copy that. Copy the lines of code, come right down here, paste it right underneath there. You see your myform.h. Now you have an error. The error here is telling you the name is wrong. So I'm going to now enter the right name. The right name of my project is called CPP Math App 2. So I'm going to change that to CPP Math App 2. No, that should be CPP. Yeah. And if it's right, the error will disappear. That is it. Done. Now if you want, you can always run your program, save it. I'm going to click on run and the form should appear. But that is not the end. Unfortunately, you won't be able to see the form on the Solution Explorer. That is the form. But you do need to be able to see that form on the Solution Explorer. But unfortunately, we cannot see that for now. So the only thing we can do is to close the program so that we refresh it and reopen it again. Okay, let's close the program. There. And we're going to have to reopen it again. I'm going to right click and let's select my CPP App 2. Get it opened. It's now coming up. And there we go. So if I click on the Solution Explorer now, I should be able to see my form. That is my form right there. If you like, double click on it. That is it right there. Okay. Now make sure the form is selected. Come straight to the properties right here. And now I want to define the size of the form. I'm going to make that 1386 by 800. And where we have start position, I'm going to get that centered. There. Window state, I'm going to, instead of normal, I'm going to make that maximize, and that's it. So the form is taken care of. If you like, you can change the details in here. You can just call that Math App. There, and that will be displayed right here. Okay, that's fine. So the next thing I want to do now is I'm going to minimize that and come right here to my toolbar. We'll come right here. Let's go into panel. Just drag it that much. There we go. And I'm going to copy that same. First of all, let's change the back color of that panel to colored blue. There we go. I will now copy that same panel. Make sure it's right inside the other one. And let's change this to control. Control is the default color. There. That is that taken care of. I'm going to now change the appearance of this form. So let's copy this panel. Hold on to the control, click and drag. And I'm going to reduce the size of this panel. And let's bring this here. Something like that. Now drag both, just take it down. There, that's fine. I'm going to copy it as well. Hold on to the control, click and drag. Copy it and paste it on the other side. There we go. Okay, let's go to the toolbox again and add the following. Let's come right here. I'm going to need a label. Grab a label here. Let's change the size of that very label first. I'm going to make that about 30. Make that bold. And I'm going to change the details here to, let's say, first number. Copy that. Hold on to the control, click and drag. Right. And I am now going to also copy it across. Let's dump it in here. Another label here and another one here and one here. And here I'm going to need label, but this label I will change that to, let's change the properties. Let's get rid of the text content, go right up here. You see where we have auto size, make that false. And the border, the color, you can change that to white. With border style, if you want, you can change that to fixed 3D or fixed single. I've just changed mine to fixed single. That is fine. Now this very label, you can give it a name if you want. So I'm going to call that LBL number 1. Hold on to the control, click and drag. That's number 2. This is number 2, and this will be for my operator. And up here we put a label in there as well. That's for the title. And in here this one, let's change this ones first. This is going to be known as operator. There we go. And this is going to be known as number 1, number 2, second number. That's good. And here I'm going to copy this. Let's just copy it, and I'll reduce everything. Bring it down here so I can see it. Yeah, that's fine there. Right, in here, I want it in here. Okay, now we also need to copy that again. Hold on to the control, click and drag, and put it right in here. There. Now, this is number 2, or second number. This is first number, operator, and so on. If you notice, every single component in here, they are all labels. Okay, because the system will be generating the data that you want. Okay. Now, right underneath here, we need one that will say answer, something like that. We only need one, we don't need 2. Copy that, paste that in there. That would be for the answer. Enter answer. And in here we would then add a text box. That would be the only text box that we need, and change the size of that text box to 30 as well. There we go. Move this up. This will be for the buttons. Right. So here we call this point awarded, or point awarded. And in here, that is going to be right. And here I'm going to delete that as well because the system will generate that for me. Yeah, that's fine. And here change this to correct answer is. Now let's come right down here. And I'm going to now get it center. There we go. Right. All that is left for us now is just to add the buttons. Grab a button. We need 3 of those. 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to enhance this button. That shouldn't be a problem for you guys to take care of. So let's speed that up. Okay, all taken care of. So this button is called reset. No, that's result, and this is reset, that's exit. Now before I go any further, let's go straight into the project here. Click on the project. We need a reference. No, we don't have it in here. You can always use manage NuGet, but instead of that, let's come straight into the solution explorer here. Right click on your project name and let's select add, then select reference. Inside the reference, all I need is speech because I want it to speak to the end user. That is it, the system.speech. So make sure it's checked and click on OK. There we go. So that is taken care of. Now let's double click on the form and let's scroll right up there. We now want to import the following library, so I'm going to grab hold of all of these, just copy that, paste that in here, then enter another semicolon, another column and in there I'm going to enter speech. There we go, because I've already attached it from the reference, and that is going to be synthesizer. The next thing I'm going to need is going to be for media. So let's say media. There we go. Now you need those 2 libraries. Now that those 2 libraries are in place, let's go right underneath the pragma here. Right there, should be here somewhere. There we go. Right underneath the pragma, I'm going to declare. Okay, first of all, let's create an object for the speech. So let's say speech synthesizer. Let it reference my variable. Is going to be known as SAPI, and that SAPI is going to be equals garbage, new garbage collector, or garbage collector new. That is going to be speech synthesizer. There we go. And done. Enter semicolon. So I've declared the variable that I intend, the object that I'm going to be using. So the next thing I'm going to say is I'm going to add random and let it reference as follows. And that is going to be garbage new, and that is random. There we go. Now the next one, I'm going to now declare a variable, and this one is going to be string variable. This string variable, I'm going to call it Arithmetic Operator. There we go. One more thing. Let's add another variable, and that's going to be add value. And add value, I'm going to get it initialized with 0 or by 0. That is it, done. So those are the data I intend to use. And right underneath here, you can start work with our function. So I'm going to grab hold of this. Let's copy that, paste it here, and that is going. Let's call our function math app function. must have function. There we go. That's my function in there. So inside this very function, I'm going to declare as follows. Let's say double, and that is going to be first number. That will be the random, whatever random number that is generated. Next to, let's give it from 13 to about 24. There, that's my first number. Now repeat the same thing for the second number. Alright, and one more. So change this to second number, and this one is going to be integer, and the value in here is going to be 1 to 5. Why this one will be 1 to 12. There. Then one more, that will be int number, and the value of number will be 1. Initialize with 1. Okay, so for now those are the variables and the object that I'm going to be using, and in here that is the function that I intend to use. Okay, so underneath here I'm going to start by entering answer. I would like the cursor to set focus to the answer, focus. Now the next thing is I'm going to use a for loop for I. I don't have I in there, so I'm going to say int I. That will be equals 0, comma, I less than and equals to number I plus plus. Open up curly braces. This very one, that should be known as operation. Let's change that to operation or operator, whatever. Let's see, operations. And I'm going to make this lowercase. So the operation, that's going to be I'm going to be using that for the switch statement. So right in here, I'm going to ask it to switch. Operations, come right down, open up curly braces, and the first case is going to be 1. Enter column. So for your information, that is my function that I'm creating that will generate the random numbers and the random operator as well. Okay, if the case is 1, then our operator will become the plus sign. Copy that and paste that right underneath here. That will be equals the plus sign. There. If that is equals plus sign, then LBL1 dot text, and that will be equals, let's say, convert whatever we have in there dot to string, whatever we have inside num1, convert that to string. So we'll repeat the same thing for label number 2. Paste. Change this to 2. Okay. Now that that is taken care of, I want SAPI to read out what we've just done. Remember SAPI? The speech application interface that I declared up there. So I'm going to say SAPI dot speak as same, and what you're saying is going to be whatever we have inside the text box 1, no, label 1, LBL1 plus, enter the plus sign and add another plus in there, and whatever we have inside LBL2, paste that in here, plus, we can just say what is the answer. So let's say 2 plus 1, what is the answer? There we go. Happy will read that out for us. And one more thing, break. You must enter break for each case statement that you have. So copy that. I'm going to use that for the second one now. Paste, paste, and paste. So this is number 2. In the case of number 2, this will become maybe subtract. This is number 3 and number 4 here. So let's say 4 is the division, and this is multiplication, and this is subtract. So this one is going to be number 1 minus, and the next one here, that will be multiplication. So let's say multiply by, change this to multiply by. Okay, multiply by, and the last one is going to be divided by. All right, so that is taken care of. Now one more thing, right underneath here we must have a default function for this. Default, then application, arithmetic operator will become automatically, will just become either divide or plus, whatever you want to put in there, that's fine. I've put in plus in mine. Okay, then we get it break. It's a break there. And right underneath here, I'm now going to say LDL operator dot text. That will be equals whatever type of operator selected there, and we end it with a semicolon there. That is my function created, and for us to find out if this function works, we need to be able to call it somewhere. So I'm going to use the form load. Let's click on the form, double click on the form, and that is the form load right in there. I'm going to paste my function. That's the function that I created, and this is it up here. Okay, math app function, and those are the lines of code that I used to make that up. So I've just called it in here now. So let's see if it's going to work. Click on run.
17 minus 17, what is the answer?
There we go. Even if we enter the answer in there, we can't do nothing yet. Well, with that, I'm going to call it the end of the first part of this tutorial, and I will see you guys shortly.